In today's video, I'm going to walk you through how to create and sell low content books on Amazon KDP. Now, not only am I going to explain things here on camera, but I'm actually going to switch you over to my own computer and we will go through this click by click. So you can follow along on your own computer, and by the end of this video, you will have your book published on Amazon. Now, what's going to make this video super helpful is that typically when people tell you how to do a business model, they don't actually show you how to do each step. I'm going to show you every single step, and I'm even going to give you my titles, my subtitles, descriptions, pricing strategies, everything that I have learned that has worked the best, I'm going to share with you guys openly in this video. Now, lastly, before we get into this video, if you guys are anything like me, you're probably wondering, why would I be sharing all of this openly and giving it away for free? Well, over the last couple of years of building businesses just like this and similar ones online, I've made over $3 million in profit so far. What has become the most meaningful work that I can do day to day is sharing with you guys full step-by-step tutorials on how to do this without charging an arm and a leg for it in a paid course. So all I ask is, as you guys watch this video, if you do enjoy this type of content, show me some love down in the comments, give this video a thumbs up, share it with a friend who you think would enjoy it. All right, guys, without further ado, let's get straight into this video. Okay, so switching over to the computer, the place to start here is Amazon KDP. So just go over to Google and type in Amazon KDP. The first result should say kdp.amazon. This is the one that we want to click on. Now, once you click on this, it's going to bring you to kind of the homepage for Amazon KDP. And what that stands for is Kindle Direct Publishing. So for those of you guys who are relatively new to this business, essentially this is Amazon's division where we can create and sell books on Amazon. Now, the really big thing to clarify here is that we are not actually writing full-fledged novels, we are not printing these books, and we are not shipping them to the customers. The way that Amazon KDP works is we as the seller just create the art files of what's going to go on the cover, both front and the back, and what's going to get printed on each page, and we upload that to Amazon. Amazon then creates a virtual listing for that book. And when anyone comes in and they purchase that book on Amazon, Amazon will print that book in their book printing facility. They will ship it out to the customer. And like Amazon does best, they will handle all of the customer service for us. Us as the sellers of the book, we just get a split of the profit on every order. Now, some really important things to know that you are going to be wondering as you get into this business. First, Amazon KDP is 100% free to join. There are no monthly fees, so all of this is free to do. Second, there is no application to be a seller for Amazon KDP. Anyone from the world can sign up today, and by the end of this video, you can have your first book uploaded to Amazon. And third, and most importantly, every time someone places an order of your book on Amazon, you do not have to pay upfront to have that book printed. The customer pays for the order in full upfront. That covers the cost of printing and shipping. And like I said before, we just get a split of the profit. All right, so hopefully now that we're on the same page about what Amazon KDP is, now let me switch you over to Amazon itself and show you a real example of this, and then we'll get into actually making it ourselves. So if you go over to Amazon, and I just typed in Entrepreneur Journal as an example here, as you scroll through these results, you're going to see all of these are physical books. So these are being held in inventory and they're being shipped out to the customers. But as you start scrolling through here, you're going to see these mock-ups of covers, something like this right here. It's just a photo of that cover. You're going to find more of these as you keep scrolling through. Here's another one right here, one more here, and then just another couple examples down here. Most people don't realize as they're scrolling through Amazon that these books with the just mock-ups of the covers are not actually printed yet. So if we click on one of these, this brings us right into this listing for this book, and I can tell because it has the virtual front cover and back cover, this is being done with Amazon KDP. So the Amazon KDP seller who created this book has just created this cover design for the front. The back is actually left entirely black, and they've uploaded both of these, and the inside of the book is most likely lined pages. The listing doesn't even show us what's inside of the book here. And then if someone wants to buy this book, they can just add it to their cart just like any other product on Amazon. Amazon receives that order automatically. They will print it, ship it out to the customer. And if the customer has Amazon Prime, that product will have Prime shipping as well. Now, just so you guys can see what this looks like in real life, these are a couple examples of KDP books. So front cover, back cover, and then what goes inside of that book. And in this instance, this is a password logbook. So that's a great example of a low content book. Another popular low content book would be a blank journal. So in most cases, a funny cover on the front. You don't even have to have anything on the back, and then just lined pages inside. Now, beyond low content books, there are other options like medium content books. I really like word search books as well. For those of you who are specifically interested in creating word search puzzles and selling those, I have another full step-by-step tutorial that I can put down in the description below. Again, totally free here on YouTube, but it'll walk you through making these medium content books. But guys, with that being said, this video is going to focus on low content books. And if you are wondering what classifies a book as low content, I can quickly show you on Amazon what their guidelines are. So from Amazon KDP directly, low content books are books that are notebooks, planners, diaries, journals, and other similar types of books. However, this is where I'm going to drop the first golden nugget in this video. Most people, when they learn about creating low content books on Amazon KDP, they focus on creating blank journals. These are the books that just have the lined pages inside, which are generally very easy to create. However, what so many people don't realize is that you can get into other categories of low content books. Like we had mentioned, this is a password logbook, and for us, that means that we are creating the same template and copy pasting that to every page in this book. The part of low content books that so many people get wrong is they just focus on the big category of blank journals with the lined pages. The huge opportunity here is all of the different types of template pages you can put in these books. As you can see on this big list here, these are just some of the good ideas that you can use to create low content books that are not just lined pages. Now, with that being said, in this video specifically, we are going to use blank recipe books. This is currently an undersaturated niche for low content books, and I'll show you how to create these specifically, and then you can take the same step-by-step process to create all of these other types of low content books. The process will stay exactly the same. You are just changing what the layout is that's going on each page. Okay, so first things first, let's go over to Amazon and we're going to type in recipe book. And then it's going to auto-suggest recipe book to write your own recipes in. Now, anytime you type in an idea up here and it starts to auto-suggest different results, that means that there are a lot of other people out there searching for that specific search. So that's how you can pick up some good ideas to create these books about. Now, once we've searched that, just scroll through here and you're going to see that a lot of these results, they all have physical books. So they are not being done with Amazon KDP. This is a really good sign for us. It means that there's not much competition. So now that we've got our idea for this book, now we can actually get into making the book itself. So in order to make the book, there are two parts that we have to do. First is creating the front and back cover, which is just an art file. And second is creating all of the pages that are going to go inside of the book. And in this video, I'm going to show you the trick to do this, where you can just click on different templates. They will fill into every page for you. And this makes the process for creating all of these types of low content books a lot easier. So the first part of this is creating the book's cover. Now to do this, you can use a graphic design tool. This makes the process a lot easier. I personally pay for a couple of the top graphic design tools every single month, so I have premium access to them. The best one specifically for these books on Amazon KDP is called BookBolt. This is a tool that allows us to create these covers very easily, but then it also goes on to give us templates that we can choose for all of these low content types of books. This makes the whole process of creating these books 10 times faster than trying to do all of this on different tools. Now, I'll go ahead and get logged in here and I'll walk you through all of these steps, but first I do want to be really transparent about this tool. It is a paid tool to use, but they've got both monthly and they have yearly plans. So whichever one is better for you, it's just going to be cheaper on a monthly basis if you pay for the whole year up front. But then they also have two plans here. They have a newbie plan for $9.99 a month, and then they also have a pro plan. The only difference between these two plans is that if you get the pro plan, you can also create those word search books that we were talking about before. The newbie plan still has all of the same low content templates that you can use for all the pages in your books as the pro plan has. Now, two really important things to clarify here. First is that for either of these plans, there is a 3-day free trial. So for the purpose of this tutorial in the next couple of days, you can do all of this on a free trial and you can actually create quite a few books. And the last important thing to know about this is I actually have a personal coupon code from them for 20% off of any of their plans. I will put a link to that down in the description below, but that will give you 20% off for lifetime. So it's not just for the first month or the first year that you subscribe for. Okay, so with all of that out of the way, let me go ahead and get logged in and we'll start this process. So once you get logged into BookBolt, you're going to have all of these features down on the left side. A lot of these you can use for research or coming up with different books you can create and upload. But what we want to do specifically is click on research and switch it to create. And we're going to go to BookBolt Studio. If you have not seen this before, this is where you create your front and back covers, and then you can create all of the templates that go on each page in your book, and all of this can be done with just a few clicks. Now, I'm not exaggerating when I say that. I'll actually walk you through each step here, and we'll create a full one of these books from scratch, and then I'll take you over to Amazon KDP and show you how to upload it with all the templates, layouts, pricing that I personally use myself. So this is a really good example of what we're going to create here. As you can see, it just says recipes on the front. It has kind of a cool pattern background, and then it shows an example on the back back cover here of what's going to be included in that book. As we talked about before, on Amazon KDP, it doesn't actually show the buyer what is going to be inside of that book, but since this is beyond just lined pages, I think it is important for the buyer to see what is the layout of that template on every single page, just to make sure that they like it before they buy it. So a really good way to do this is on your front cover, you can have the front cover obviously, but on the back cover, you can show an example of what that layout looks like. This is a very efficient way to use your back cover because not only is it showing the buyer what is going to be inside of that book, but also it streamlines your creation process. So you don't have to create something custom or a design to make your back cover look good on every single book you create. Now, just before we get into actually creating our own book cover, I do want to just show you kind of what you are competing against in this niche right now. So this is an example of a really good front cover. This is one of the best sellers in the niche. Here are some more of them that I've kind of picked out here to show you quickly. You can see it's a very similar layout. And then another one over here, and then a couple more for you to see. So as you can see across the board, it is not going to be very hard for us to create covers that are as good or better than the ones that are currently selling on Amazon. So let's come back over to BookBolt and I'll walk you through how to do this step by step. So this is my page right here. It's where I left off. But for you, just go ahead and click on project and click on new project. And then these are the settings that you kind of have to get right the first time. Leave paperback, cover, and interior for the first drop down up here. And then for your project name, just put in template, recipe book 7x10. Now this is what we are going to use for our first recipe book, and then we can duplicate this later on, so it makes the process very easy for our future recipe books. But this is telling us that it's our template, what the book is, and the size of the book. Speaking of the size, the next is the trim size right here. Set that to 7 by 10. I will talk about why 7 by 10 is so important later on in this tutorial, but moving on from here, black and white interior with white paper, bleed, turn that on, and then 100 page count. Once yours looks exactly like this, go ahead and click on Create Project. Okay, so once you've created a brand new project, it will look just like this. This is your cover. It's going to be relating to the first thumbnail in the top left, and then all of your pages within the book are going to be below it. So at any time, you can click on one of these pages and you can edit it individually. But first, we need to create our front and back cover. Now, on all new projects, you're going to have this red border around your cover. So if you just pinch to zoom in here, you can kind of read it a little bit. It is just giving us details about the size of this book and then general best practices for creating your cover. The only important things you really need to know here is that the red is where the printing is going to start to cut off. So anything important, your graphics, any of your text needs to stay within the white. And then the other important thing is that in this bottom corner of your back cover, which is this left side, Amazon is automatically going to put a barcode in there for us. What that means for us is you don't want to put anything overlapping in this corner that would obstruct that barcode. In this specific case, we are just going to put an example of the layout of what's going to be on every page. And you will see that we put it up here towards the top so that it does not obstruct the barcode. So hopefully now that we're on the same page about this, we can now click on the transparency right up here and we can click on hide cover template and then click on OK. So in order to create this cover, there's only a couple steps here. First, go over to the left and click on the shapes, and then we're going to click on rectangle and then just close this out so it gives us more room to work with. And this is a really important step here. So click and drag this all the way past the corner. So as you can see, the lines here are going past my book. That is what we want. And then click on this bottom square here. We're going to click and drag that so that it overlaps fully over this book. As you can see, the entire book is covered in black. You can keep going as far as your cursor will allow. If your book accidentally looks like this, where there is still white in the back, Amazon will reject that cover and they will send it back to you so that you can refix it. You can put it to cover the whole cover and resubmit it to them again. So just make sure that you are avoiding that problem by just overlapping this over your whole cover. Now, the next step is to go one down from the shape, which is the T for text. Click on that and click on add heading. And then again, we are just going to close out of this side over here. Now, this is our heading right here. Before we do anything, just click on the black color right here and then switch that to something that is lighter. Let's just start with white. And now we can actually see this heading. So I'm going to click and drag this over to the right side here. As you are dragging it, it will snap to the center. This becomes really helpful in a second here. But for now, we're just going to leave that snap to the center somewhere on the right cover. So let's double click this real quick and let's type in recipes. I'm going to do it all capitalized and then just click off of it and that's going to unselect it. And now from here, we're going to actually add a background to this cover. So this is a really cool feature to BookBolt. This is something that I actually don't get from my other premium graphic design tools. Again, why I use BookBolt to do this. But if you go over to the left side, instead of the shapes, instead of the text, you can actually go to images. And at the very top, you can see my uploads, but then Pixabay, and unsplash. Whenever you are creating an Amazon KDP book, it doesn't matter if it's low content, medium, or high content, you have to make sure that you have the rights to use any graphics or text that is in that book. In some other graphic design tools, they do not filter it by what is fully commercially usable and copyright free. However, all of the graphics that you find in Pixabay or Unsplash are fully usable for Amazon KDP. Now, yes, that saves us a lot of time and potential headaches down the road, but the really cool feature to BookBolt is still coming up here in a second. So in here, you can search for anything you're looking for. For these recipe books specifically, type in something like kitchen icon. And although you can use actual graphics, so if you click on one of these, it's just going to add it to your cover. What I think looks a lot more professional, I'm just going to delete this and go back where we left off, is finding icons. So things that have a clear background like this or like this, but relate to the kitchen or cooking. So scroll through here a little bit and see if you can find any icons that you want to use on your cover. But if you're not finding anything right away, you can switch over to Unsplash, you can search over there, or you can start switching this to food icons. Anything that relates to a recipe book. All right, so I'm going to use this one right here. Let's just click on this. And this is going to put this in on our cover right here. And this brings us into the really cool feature that I love on BookBolt. So first, this is purple right now, and I really don't want to have purple on here. I want to have some kind of lighter color. So click on the image effects, which is right here. And then we're going to switch that to grayscale, turn grayscale on, and this will work for any of the graphics that you add to your cover. And then you can kind of adjust the brightness here. So average, lightness, luminosity. Let's do lightness. This is going to turn it into kind of a gray color. And then specifically, this is the feature that I love for creating these books. So if you go over to the left side, there's this brick wall right here. This is patterns. So if you click on this, it'll say create a pattern with the selected objects. Well, we have this object selected right now. So click on OK. And this is going to expand this object into a pattern that we can just keep expanding as far as we want to cover our entire book, both front and back covers. Now you can move this around as much as you want to find kind of the perfect spot to position this, but this is the huge time saver for creating these covers. Now quickly, I do want to give you guys a really helpful tip. So let's drag this over to the side right here, and then let's go back to images and let's pick out a couple different graphics. So let's say we wanted to use this one. We'll put that over here. Let's make it smaller and then go back to graphics again. Let's pick out another one, this spoon right here. And this isn't going to make much sense because I'm just picking the graphics that I can do this the quickest to show you guys how to do it. But put these next to each other and you can add in multiple graphics around it as well. But then select one of them, hold down Shift and select the other one. This is going to have them both selected at the same time. And now you can click on the pattern and you can say create a pattern with selected objects. Okay. And this will create that pattern for you. So then you can drag that out and you can create a pattern with any of the icons that you're adding to your cover. So guys, keep that in mind as you are doing this. You can create custom patterns by choosing which icons you want in it. I'm going to delete this and go back to where we were before. This one looks really good. So as far as the front and back covers go here, we're actually almost done. I know it doesn't quite look like it yet, but go over to the recipes right here, click and drag that above the pattern. That's going to bring your text in front of it. And then a nice little trick here is you can go over to the shapes again. You can add in a rectangle. Remember, just close this out so we have the room to work with it again. Put this over your recipes, and then we are again going to click on recipes and put that above the rectangle. It's just going to put it on top of it. But what this allows us to do is we can click on that shape in the background and we can actually expand it so that you can read recipes a lot cleaner over top of that background pattern. So what I recommend doing is taking this and dragging it till it snaps to the center. I typically come down here until it hits the top of the center mark right there. So as you can see, it snaps to both of these, and then take recipes and put that in the middle of this box. And then the way to make this instantly look a lot better is you can just click on this background shape and then go to the corners, drag that to about 0.4. This is just going to round those corners for you. It gives you a more professional look. Click on OK, and then click on the little checkerboard that's right here. This is going to add a border around that rectangle in the background, just lifting it off of that background pattern a little bit. So first, pick any color you want here. Let's go with a gray for this example, and then click and move the stroke to 1, 2, 3 until you like the size of it. So if I click off of here, you can see the higher you drag the number for the stroke, the thicker this border line is going to be. So that's pretty much our front cover right here. What I would recommend for you guys is just to spend a couple minutes making this look as good as possible. So click on the recipes itself and click on Open Sans up top. You can now select any of these fonts. These are all going to be copyright free and commercially usable, just like we were talking about for the graphics. So you don't have to worry about checking to see if people own the rights to these fonts. You can just click around here, see how this looks. Okay, let's go ahead and use that font. It just gives it a better look for a recipe book. So guys, that would be the front cover totally complete here. The only other step we have to do for this cover is adding the example of what the page layouts are going to look like. However, you've probably guessed it, we need to create those page layouts first. So this is where BookBolt saves us the most time. In order to do this, go over to the left side, just click on one of these pages. And from here, we are just going to click on the puzzle icon. And these are all of the templates that we can just click and add to every page in this book. So you can can scroll through all of these and see them. I have a pro account. That's why I'm able to use all of these puzzles as well. Like we were talking about before, the word search is actually right there. For the low content books on the newbie plan, you will have access to all of these layouts. So as you can see, this keeps scrolling down. There's a ton of different layouts that you can just click, add to all of their pages, and then you're just changing the cover to say whether it's a workout logbook or it's a blank recipe book. And I will say for you guys, in order to find these the fastest, just click on the categories up top. So let's click on food. And this is going to be recipes right here. And anytime that it has a green label, it means that there are multiple variants of that layout. So there are a ton of different layouts you can pick here. So let's click on recipes. And these are all the different layouts we can use for this book. If you want to see these a little bit bigger, you can click on preview. It's going to show you what that layout looks like. We will use the first one here. Let's preview it. Okay, that looks really good. It's got the difficulty that you can fill out on how hard it is to cook that recipe, the rating of how much you like it. You can fill out the prep time, the cook time, and this is what each page will look like. So we'll X out of that and we'll click on this one. We'll just click right in the middle and it's going to say, what pages do you want to add this to? So we have 100 pages we can choose from and we want this on every single page. This is the beauty of creating books like this. Every page has the same template. So it makes it a lot easier for us to create. So what we are going to do is click on select all and we're just going to uncheck the cover. We don't want to add that to the cover, at least not yet. And then as you can see, all of these are selected. They're all turned blue. We just go to continue to options and it's going to ask you one question here. It's going to say keep the aspect ratio. So it's going to keep the size of that template as it is, or do you want to resize and fill your entire workbook? This is where that 7:10 comes into play. So let me show you an example of this. If you keep the aspect ratio and you click on preview, it'll show you that in 7:10, this is how it's going to fit that page. You can see it's pretty closely squared to this page. Everything fits pretty much perfect. If you X out of this and you go to resize and fill the whole area, you can see that this barely changes. That means that 7:10 is a perfect size to use these layouts. Now, if you were to use something like 8:10 or 8.5:11, you would end up with a lot of blank space on either side of this template, or if you stretched it to fill, it would distort the text on this template so it wouldn't look right. So this all looks perfect. Because we've done 7:10, you can choose either of these. I typically leave it on keep aspect ratio just so everything is perfect, and then click on submit. This is just going to go to town, adding this template to every single page in this book without fast forwarding or anything. This is already complete. So as you can see, scrolling all the way down the left side, all of these pages now have this same layout automatically added to this book, and it fits perfectly within the printing areas. So these dotted lines, just like the cover, that's where it starts to get cut off. These templates fit perfectly. So literally the last step we have to do here is add the preview of what this template's going to look like on the back cover without overlapping the barcode. So in order to do that, first we have to go to the shapes and let's click on that and add a rectangle. We are again going to close this out. Drag this rectangle to the left side this time, which is the back cover. And we're going to switch that to white and then drag it up to the corner here. We're going to expand it a little bit. This size we can dial in a second here. And we're just going to kind of guess on the size for a second here. We'll put it just about here. Just give this a second to save up top. Now click on the first page. We're going to right click this template. We're going to copy it. Go back to our cover, and we're actually going to right click on the side here where it's not selecting anything, and we're going to paste it. Now, as you can see, the template that we've pasted doesn't have a white background. It's actually transparent. That's why we've had to add this white shape in the background of it. But since it's a little bit too big right now, we're just going to click one of these corners and we're going to drag it in, and then we'll put it on top of this white background. Now, what I recommend here is holding it until it snaps to the center. That's where you know that this is going to be centered, and then shaping that white background to the template itself. So I'm going to bring in this side, I'm going to bring in this side, and then I'll bring up the bottom a little bit. Now, in order to make sure that that white shape is exactly centered on this template, just click on this corner down here, and you can kind of move it around until it snaps to the center, and then just make sure the top and bottom have the equal amount of space at the bottom as they do the top, and then you've just completed this part of the process. And then guys, just like that, we have created our front and back covers. This is ready to go. As we mentioned before, this is going to have the barcode in the bottom corner, so just make sure that you don't make this go too far down where it's going to hit that barcode. So just like that, in a couple minutes here, we have created one of these books from scratch. Now from here, this book is ready to upload to Amazon KDP, so I'll show you how to do that. So once this book is ready to go, we just go to download and then go to download current project CMYK. This is the first option here. Just give this a minute to load here, and this is going to download it to your computer. And then you'll get a message that says your download should have automatically started, and it will save it to your computer. The very important step here is once this does download to your computer, it is saved as a .zip file. So we need to double click this, and this is going to essentially unzip the zip file and turn it into a usable folder with all the documents that we need for Amazon. So from here, everything is saved to the the downloads on our computer, now we can go over to Amazon KDP and actually upload this as a listing. So let's go over there and I'll walk you through this step by step. Okay, so from here, we're going to go back to the Amazon KDP homepage. If this is your first time through here, you are going to click on Join KDP. There's just a quick sign up process. There is no application and you can be based anywhere in the world. So that will take you a couple minutes to set it up. For those of you who already have this set up, you're just going to click on sign in and it will bring you into your dashboard. So once you do get signed in, you're going to be in your dashboard that looks just like this. We are going to click on the big create button right here. And very importantly, we are going to click on paperback. This is the one in the middle. It's the second option. Click on create paperback. And this is the upload process right here. So there are not many things to fill out here, but I'll walk you through each one of them step by step. And I'll even share with you guys my specific layouts and the way that I fill out each one of these. So the very first thing is English, leave that on English. And then you've got your book title and your book subtitle. This is one of the most important parts of this process. Not only do you need to get this right in order to get your book approved and actually for sale on Amazon, but if you do this wrong, you're going to miss out on a lot of organic traffic on Amazon's marketplace. The book title is simply going to be exactly what your front cover says on your book. So if we go back over to Book Bolt, our front cover just says recipes. So that is exactly what we are going to put as our book title. This is something that Amazon sometimes can be very strict about. They want to make sure that your book title is written exactly how it shows on the book's cover. So we are going to type in recipes. And then for your subtitle, this is where we can actually get creative and we can get ranking power on Amazon. So if you don't know what I mean by ranking power, it's essentially when someone searches for a blank recipe book, ours is going to be one of the ones that shows up because we are filling out our subtitle properly and telling Amazon what our book is about. A lot of people put in a very simple subtitle here and they're missing out on so much ranking power on Amazon. So one of the easiest ways to figure out what keywords you should be putting in your subtitle is to go over to Amazon itself and type in what you want to show up for. So blank recipe books to write in, or blank recipe book to write your own recipes in, anything that matches what you are creating very closely. And then from all of these listings that are organically ranking on the first page of Amazon, you want to see what keywords they are using in there. So let's click on this one. They have blank recipe notebook to write in your own recipes, recipe journal. Okay, let's go back. Let's look at the other ones here. Recipe book to write your own recipes in, blank recipe book, cookbook to write your own recipes, blank recipe notebook. And in order to make sure that you're not ripping off anyone else's subtitle, what I recommend doing is pulling the best keywords and phrases out of multiple of these and creating your own subtitle every time. This will give you a custom subtitle that does not copy anyone else on Amazon, but has all of the keywords that you want to rank for. So if you guys know my style here, I always have an efficient way to do each step of this process. So I have a big list of all of these keywords that I have pulled out of all of these subtitles, and I just go through and randomly choose some of these and combine them in my subtitle so each one is custom. I will put this up on the screen for you guys so you can screenshot this, you can write it down in your own notes, and then as you are creating these subtitles, you can do the same process as me. So let's go back over to Amazon KDP, and I'm going to pull a couple of these from my list, and I'm going to build out my own subtitle here, and I'll show you how to format it. This is going to be our first keyword here, and then I'm going to click space, hold down shift and press this symbol right here, which is a bar, press space again, and this is where we're going to add in our next one. So this is our next one right here. You can add another bar and you can add one more in here. I generally go for 2 or 3. What you may run into if you do too many of these is Amazon will actually reject the book initially and say that they want you to remove some of the keywords so it still looks professional on Amazon's marketplace. If that happens, they'll send you an email and explain this. It is totally normal, so don't sweat it if that does happen. If you want to try to play it safe, you can just go for 2 of these instead of 3. And the other big pointer I will give you is that from the list of keywords and phrases, try not to repeat any of these keywords. So this has blank recipe book. I want to make sure that in this second one here, it doesn't say blank recipe book again. The reviewers are often looking to see if you are repeating the same keyword multiple times in your title and subtitle. So just try your best not to do that when you're choosing which keywords to fill in your subtitle. So guys, that is our simple title and our subtitle right here. That list of all those phrases are just some of the really good ones. You can even build off of that and go find more of them in Amazon listings, but this is how I recommend building this out. So from here, scroll down, right past series, you don't need to use that. Right past edition number, you don't need to use that. Author, this is where you can enter your first and last name as the author, or you can use a pen name. So when someone searches your name on Google, if you don't want these books to show up, then you can use a pen name. Now, a pen name is just an anonymous name. It's something that you can come up with and you can use as your author name for these books. And the cool thing here is you don't have to register the pen name. You don't have to form a business. You don't have to use a doing business as. There's no license to do this. this, you're basically just coming up with a fake name. The big pointers I'll give you though is that if you do use an author name that is trademarked, so think about company names or TV shows, things that are owned by other people, or if you use an author name that is already being used by someone who is selling on Amazon, both of those will lead to your book getting rejected when you submit it, and they will say that you need to change your author name. So you can get as creative as you want here. I would say just don't use anything that has profanity in it. If you can't come up with something off the top of your mind, you can always just type in your initials. So this would be GG, Greg Gottfried, Cook Books. This is going to give you just a general way to start this, but keep in mind, if someone else watches this tutorial and they have the same initials as you, that's going to be used by someone else. Now, the last couple important things to know about the authors that you won't really find unless someone tells you is that you can use the same author name on every single one of your books, or you can change your author name to have a different one on every single book you upload. There is really no sales advantage that I've seen from doing it both of these different ways, so that is going to be up to you. But the last important thing to know here is that once you have submitted a book with an author name and it's been approved, you cannot change that author name later. So that should give you all of the info you need on the author name here. Once you are scrolling past that, you're going to see contributors. This is going to be other people you can list that have helped you to create this book. Totally optional. Just know that down the road you can add and you can delete contributors. You just can't change the author name. Now, something else real quick that would be valuable for you guys to know that you would only know from experience is that if you do get a rejection email from Amazon KDP when you submit this book, they may say that you need to change your author/contributors names. Sometimes they even say you have to change your contributors names, but you haven't put in any contributors at all. You've only put in an author name. Just know that they often batch contributors with author names. So if they're saying there's an issue with your contributors names and you don't even have any contributors here, you just have an author name, interpret that as there's an issue with the author name and you need to change that name. Hopefully that saves you guys some headaches. It took me a while to figure out what they actually meant by that, but that is that. This brings us on to the description, which I am excited to share with you guys. The way to do these descriptions is actually really cool. It saves you a lot of time and it gives you a lot of that ranking power that we were talking about with keywords. So quickly, let's go back over to Amazon. This is the description right here. So typically you have to click on read more. It's this section right here. And this kind of does two things. So first, it's telling Amazon again what your book should show up for, what kind of keywords are throughout your description, but also it's giving people that kind of push to push them over the fence to say, yes, this is the right thing for me and I'm going to make the purchase. So if you do this properly, it means that your conversion rate, or the amount of people that see your book and end up purchasing your book, will be higher than if you just put in something random in your description. So in order to do this description, I don't actually type it on Amazon KDP's upload page. Instead, I go to ChatGPT, and it's a two-part process here. So I say, what are the benefits of owning a blank kitchen cookbook? And then give that a search. And this is going to type out all of the benefits to owning a blank kitchen cookbook, which is what we are creating. And while this is doing this, for those of you who still haven't heard of ChatGPT, it's a totally free artificial intelligence tool. You don't even need to create an account to use it. I will put a link to this down in the description, as well as everything else we've talked about in this video. Any resources that I've mentioned, I will have direct links to them in the description so you can find them easily. Okay, so this has finished writing our answer for us. This is going to give us 9 benefits to having a blank kitchen cookbook. What I am then going to say is turn these benefits into a compelling Amazon product description for a blank recipe book with 100 pages in 7x10 size, and then just click on enter. So as you can see, this is just going to go to town writing this description for us. ChatGPT is very good at writing these descriptions creatively and intertwining what are the benefits to owning this product, which is exactly what someone on Amazon is looking for and is going to give them that last nudge that says, yes, I really do want to have this in my kitchen. So this just wrote it all for us. It even formats it with emojis and makes it look really good. All we have to do here is scan this to make sure that this all makes sense. There's no errors. Everything does in fact apply to the book that we just created. Sometimes it will talk about the pages are heavy duty or things like that. These are features that Amazon KDP books don't promise. So if it's talking about the quality of the book or something like that, we have to take that out. Amazon doesn't want that to be in our listing. This goes for the add to cart as well. I don't want to put any of that. It just looks spammy on Amazon. So I'm going to copy from here all the way up to where this starts. And then I'm going to right click it and I'm going to copy it. Let's go back over to Amazon KDP. And from here, I'm going to right click and I'm going to paste it. And then just make sure that everything looks good and everything formatted properly. As we were talking about with the durable, I'm just going to take that out. So I'll take this out right here just to make sure that Amazon is okay with this description. Okay, so now that that is complete, on publishing rights, we're going to click I own the copyright and hold the necessary publishing rights. That's because we created this from scratch. Next up on primary audience, we're going to do no, and there is no specific specific age that someone has to be to purchase it. Primary marketplace, we are going to do Amazon.com. And then for categories, this gives us another option to tell Amazon what this book should be showing up for. So click on choose categories and then select one. We're going to go to cookbooks, food and wine. We're going to click on general. And then we're going to go to add another category. We'll go back to cookbooks, food, and wine. On this time, we're going to go to select one, and we're going to go to cooking, education, and reference. Here, we're going to do general, and we're going to do reference. This gives us 3 really good categories that explain what this book is about. Now, depending on what type of low content book you are uploading, you'll choose different categories. But essentially, we are just telling Amazon what we should be showing up for, and that way it can categorize us into those types of products. So we've got all 3 of those selected. Go ahead and click on save categories. And then you've got 2 more questions here. Is it a low content book? Yes, this is a low content book. As we were talking about before, it falls into the low content category. Although it doesn't specifically say a blank recipe book, you can kind of tell that it fits more in this side over here than it does in this side of medium and high content books. Okay, and then the next question, is it a large print book? This is actually going to depend on the size. So if you do 7 by 10, it is not going to be a large print book. No harm, no foul here. It's just not going to be categorized in the large print books. Essentially, for those of you who aren't familiar, large print books means that the font is at least 16 points or larger. Just to show you how you can tell if your book is large print or not, go to a page inside your book. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here and then add a text box. We're just going to add multi-line text. This is just going to give us small text to start with here. And then we're going to select all of the text and we're going to change it to 16 points. Click on enter and then click on OK and type in a word that is on that template. So cooking instructions, we'll drag that out to the side and then you can put that next to the text that is on your specific book. So as you can see, 16 point font is in fact bigger than what we have in our template. That's how we know that our book is not classified as large print. So I'm just going to take that back out and we'll go back over to KDP. So for our books, we are not going to check that one. Okay, so this brings us into keywords. This is another really important one. Again, for, you probably guessed it, ranking on Amazon. If you do all of these steps that we've talked about to rank on Amazon properly, you won't have to do any advertising at all. Now, I know this sounds crazy, especially to say it out loud, but if you go into all of these kind of sub niches of low content books and even medium content books, and you are doing all of this properly by telling Amazon what you are supposed to be showing up for, and there aren't many other competitors out there, your books are naturally going to get organic traffic, people just finding it on Amazon on their own. And that means that you are inevitably going to get sales without you doing any paid advertising or marketing yourself. So getting back to these keywords here, the way that you fill out these keywords is from that list that I initially put up before. All of the different keywords that people have in their Amazon listings. You will just copy paste them into here. The order of them does not matter. If they are capitalized or not, that does not matter. You don't have to put any punctuation, so no periods at the end. Just make sure that you don't have any typos in these. So I'll go through and I'm going to copy paste mine into here just in a random order as usual, and then I'll show you what this looks like. Okay, so I put this one last because this one gets cut off. You only have so many characters that you can use here. So as you can see, I can't finish saying cookbook here. So you just have to modify it a little bit here so it can fit. I'm just going to take out this and I'm just going to finish it with cookbook. That way it fits. So guys, these are all great keywords that are going to tell Amazon what we want to be showing up for. So this section right here is fully complete. Moving on from here, we have publication date and release date are the same. Yes, we're going to leave that as is. And then release my book for sale now, leave that as it is and go to save and continue. So guys, we're actually almost done with this upload process already. There's a couple more things for us to fill out. Again, I'll walk you through all of these. The first one up here is going to be publish without an ISBN. So if you're not familiar, an ISBN is a code that's on the back of each barcode, but it doesn't apply to low content books. So this is a medium content book. It has an ISBN number right here. This is a low content book. It does not have an ISBN number. Our book will still get a barcode. It just won't have that specific serial number on it. So continuing to scroll down, select black and white interior with white paper. And then for trim size, we are going to make sure that this is set on 7 by 10. This is going to be located in more standard trims in the top right. That is really important to make sure that you have that correctly matching what we've created in BookBolt. Next up is bleed or no bleed. This is going to be if it can print all the way to the edges. In this case, we don't need it to. Everything is within the print line, so we can do no bleed. And then you could do matte or glossy finish. Again, this is something I can show you an example of. This is glossy finish. It kind of reflects the light. And then this is matte finish. It's kind of softer to the touch and it doesn't doesn't reflect the light. There is no right or wrong answer here. It is totally up to preference, and there's no cost difference here. So you can select either one of these. It's not going to matter either which way. We will leave this on matte, and then we can go down to the next section. This in the manuscript section is where we actually get to upload all of those template pages. So I'll show you how to do this. If you click on upload manuscript, we can then go into our downloads and we can select that folder that we've just created from BookBolt. And in here, you're going to have paperback interior. Just click on that and upload it. Give this just 1 second to upload and it will save it for you. There it goes, save successful. And then go down to the next one, which is your book cover. Since we have already created our book cover, we're going to click on upload a cover that you already have. Then we're going to upload our cover file. We'll click on the paperback cover this time. We'll upload that. Again, just give this one a second to upload here. It will say save successful. And then just wait a couple seconds here and you're going to have that green check mark from the manuscript. And then wait and you're going to get a green check mark from your cover. That's how you know that both of these have successfully uploaded. Now there's a little button right here that says, yes, my cover has a barcode. Don't click that. Amazon will give us a barcode totally for free and they will insert that on our back cover for us. So we do not want to check this box. Now scrolling down a little bit here, AI generated content, no. Book preview. This is where we're going to click on launch previewer. So click on this. It's going to take just a second here and it's going to compile the front and back cover with all of the manuscript or interior pages that we've uploaded. And it's going to show you a real example of what this will look like when it gets sent to Amazon's printing facility. Okay, and once this finishes up, you're going to see what this looks like when it would be printed. So as you can see inside of all of the red, that's where we put everything. Nothing important is going to be outside of that print area. So that is all good. It automatically added that barcode for us. You can then click on the next page button and you can see all of your templates. And as you can see, all of these, since we made them on BookBolt, are formatted to be perfectly within the print area. So we don't have to worry about this. It's just giving us kind of the chance to find any errors before we submit it to them. We will then just click on approve over here and then scroll all the way down to the bottom and we're going to click on save and continue. And this is the very last page of this upload process. This is where we actually get to set our price and figure out how much money and profit we're going to make on every sale. So scrolling down here, you have all territories. Just leave that as is. Primary marketplace, we can't even adjust it. Leave it as is. And this is where we get to set our price for each sale. So I'll explain how this works and how much money you'll make on each sale. So depending on which category of low content books you are going into, look up that category on Amazon and see what other people are selling those books at. If you are just getting into that category, find a happy medium on pricing, typically towards the lower end of what most people are selling at. And that's going to be a good point to start the pricing of your books. And if they start to sell really well, you can slowly start to creep that price up until you find the best performing price for your books. So if you look at these blank recipe or cookbooks, you're looking at $8.99, $8.99, paperback is $9.97, $7.99, $8.99. I would say $8.99 is the average price here. So for this category specifically, $8.99 is the price we're going to start at. So let's put in $8.99 as our list price. And this is going to fill out the rest of this chart for us. So let me start with Amazon.com and then I'll explain what's going on below this. I'll pull up a calculator so this all makes sense, but basically this is saying that the sale price is going to be $8.99. And then our split of the profit is 60%. So we are going to get 60% of that times 0.6. That's $5.39 that is coming to us, but we also pay for the printing cost. That comes out of our split of the profit. So minus $2.84 to print that book. And that leaves us with $2.55 profit on every time we get a sale. Remember, we don't have to front any money. We don't have to pay for shipping. We have nothing to pay. And every time we get a sale, we are going to get $2.55 in profit. Now, I know $2.55 doesn't sound like a lot of profit, but trust me, when you are selling things on Amazon, there are so many people that buy things from Amazon that this can actually scale up really quick. And those $2.55 can really start multiplying. So all I can say is if you are a little bit hesitant and you are doubting this, that it can actually make life-changing income, just try to get as many books as you can out there on Amazon and just give it some time and watch your account. Now, coming back here, there's two more things to talk about. So the first thing is the expanded distribution. So beyond just Amazon, typically on Amazon KDP books, you can select expanded distribution, and this will have your book available on other websites other than Amazon. However, low content books do not qualify for expanded distribution. So this is not something that we're able to take part in. I will also say here on my other books that are medium content and even high content books, I have not seen anything drastic from expanded distribution. So you're really not missing out on anything here. Now, the last thing about the pricing is that this book will be available on Amazon.com, but it will also be available on all of the other Amazon marketplaces, and you get to set your specific price for those marketplaces as well. This again is just a huge benefit to selling on Amazon KDP, and a really big pointer I can give you is that for all of these other marketplaces, it's going to put in the closest to this price, which always comes out to a really weird looking number. So as everyone knows in marketing, anything that ends with a 99 is typically going to sell better. So change all of these to 99, just round them up, and this should help with your conversions as well. All right, guys, we've changed all of those to 99. They all look really good now, and we are actually done. So the very last step here is just to click on publish your paperback book and then wait up to 72 hours for Amazon to look at that book that you've submitted, make sure there's no typos, make sure there's no errors, and make sure that everything looks good for them to approve it and list it on the Amazon marketplace. So guys, if you have made it this far and you have clicked on publish, that is the entire process. That's all it takes to be an Amazon KDP seller. And now it is all just about rinse and repeat. So you can either go back and create more books that are blank recipe books with different covers or even different layouts inside. Or once you've done that, you can go back and create different types of low content books. It's kind of sky's the limit here, and there are so many different types of books that you can create and upload, and all of it will use the same process that we've used today. As a reminder, the 20% off coupon code to BookBolt is down in the description below, along with all of the other resources or links that we use throughout this video. Guys, I really hope that this video has been helpful. If you have any questions at all, just let me know down in the comments. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please just give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.